Boker Tov, good morning everyone. There's a great quote that I love that says, what lies before you and what lies behind you isn't as important as what lies within you. This year, baseball history was made. For the first time ever in 2019, baseball series, 4 teams managed to win more than 100 games. The Houston Astros, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the New York Yankees, and the Minnesota Twins all won more than 100 games. Never before did something like this happen. However, what's astonishing is that none of these 4 teams that broke the record of winning more than 100 games actually won the World Series. Who won the World Series? Of course, it was the Nationals. It was the Washington Nationals, who in May were 19-31. They had only won 19 games, lost 31. And according to statistical odds, in May, in the beginning of the season, their chances of winning the World Series was statistically 0.1% chance. And yet they went on to win the World Series. And the question is how? And the answer, I think, is in the opening verse of this week's Torah portion. This week's parasha, Hashem comes to Abram and says, Lech lecha, go on a journey to the land that I will show you. But God tells him to leave 3 places. Lech lecha, leave, go on a journey. Me artzacha, from your country, from your land. Mimoladatecha, from your birthplace. Umi beis avicha, from your father's house. Leave your country, leave your community, and leave your father's house to the land that I will show you. Now we know there isn't one extra word in the Torah. Why couldn't Hashem just say, leave your father's house to the land that I will show you? If you're leaving your father's house to go to the Israel, surely you have to leave your community and you have to leave your country. It's superfluous to say, leave your land, leave your community, and leave your house. Why say all 3? And obviously the message is not just to Avram Avinu, but to all of us here today. What are the 3 biggest influences or indicators you would say on a child's life? When a child is born into this world, you'd say, which family were they born into, which community are they born into, and which country? And that has a huge impact on who you're going to be. It's a big difference if you grew up in an uneducated family or an educated family. If you grew up in Africa or you grew up in the United States. So therefore, you would say that much of life is predetermined by simply the home you were born in, the community you were born in, and the land you were born in. Surely Sigmund Freud will tell us that everything has to do with your parents and the type of upbringing you had. And that sort of cements who you're going to be for the rest of your life. So Hashem tells us that you are greater than all of that. Lech lecha, go with your inner self, with your inner conviction, with your inner determination. And you could transcend, you could go beyond your country, your society, your local community, and even your father's home. You are not simply a byproduct of your home. You can't just say, well, my parents didn't raise me well, I didn't have a good environment, because look at Abraham. His father was an idolater. His father took him to Nimrod to have him killed because he worshipped one God. And yet Avram Avinu went on a journey, founded Judaism and monotheism, which more than half of the world follows today. And the lesson is, in school there were always those kids who got hundreds. Like the 4 teams that got 100 scores, won more than 100 games. But look, when you look later in life, when you go to your class reunion sometimes, turns out the guys who got hundreds weren't the most successful in life sometimes. Who was more successful? Maybe the guy you didn't think was so great because he only got 70s or 80s. But you know what? He believed in himself, he had determination, conviction, and he persevered, and they rose to the top. And sort of like the Nationals, that is 0.1% chance. Abraham's chance of becoming the founder of Judaism and all the 3 major religions, who biologically or spiritually see Abraham as their forefather, was less than 0.1% chance. Because he had no children at the age of 100 years old. He had his first child. And what does that teach you? It teaches you, lech lecha, go with yourself. Don't forget about what everyone tells you. Forget about what your family tells you, your community tells you, your society tells you. Believe in yourself and have faith. All Abraham had was faith in himself and faith in God. His parents didn't believe in him even. But yet he believed in himself and his philosophy and his belief in one God. And that's what took him to who he became, the father of the Jewish nation. There's a story told about a community that didn't have rain. And so the rabbi said, everyone should come to the public square. We're going to pray for rain. Everyone showed up with their prayer books to pray. The rabbi gets up on the bima. He looks around. He says, okay, everyone go home. He said, what do you mean? We came to pray for rain. He said, it's not going to work. We might as well go home now. They said, what do you mean it's not going to work? Rabbi, where's your faith? Well, you came. We're ready to pray. The rabbi says, I know it's not going to work because I looked around and not one person brought their umbrella with them. If you really have faith, you should have come with your umbrella. If you take your umbrella and you say, God's going to rain on me, I know it's going to be good, and you follow your inner conviction, your inner determination, then you could become a champion, so to speak. That's the lesson of the opening verse. Don't be deterred by all your circumstances. They don't determine the outcome. You yourself control your destiny.